So this is a practice number 1, accessing spiritual power, with the St. Andrew Lutheran Church Eco-Reformation seedlings group. Really excited to be here. And so this is a part journaling exercise, part guided meditation. So the first part is journaling. So I'm just going to invite you to have your paper handy. You can flip over your paper. Invite us to just take a breath together. And this practice, accessing spiritual power, we're going to be reflecting on the 4 different dimensions of that particular practice. Accessing spiritual powers, consciously connecting with the indwelling God to rediscover our belovedness, our God-given power, and our place within God's evolving universe. So I'm going to read the first half of each of the dimensions. Then I'm going to give you just a few moments to journal on that dimension of this practice. So the personal dimension of accessing spiritual power. We acknowledge and name the destructive powers we experience in our lives. Just take a moment and just jot down the destructive powers that you experience in your life, or you are experiencing in this time, or perhaps those you love are experiencing right now. And the interpersonal dimension of accessing spiritual power. We acknowledge the ways we isolate ourselves and objectify others. To reflect a little bit on what are the ways that you isolate yourself. Maybe ways that those you know or love are isolated. And the ways we objectify others, unconsciously or consciously. And the community dimension. We acknowledge the ways we have allowed our scriptures and traditions to be misused as weapons against many. I want you to consider how our church scriptures, traditions have been used in your experience or in the experience of those you know or love to exclude, control, objectify, divide. Whatever that might be. And finally, the public dimension. We acknowledge our collective failures in acting for justice. I want you to reflect on the church, people you know, people of faith that you know. How is it that we have justified not acting for justice or failed to act for justice? And when you're done, I invite you to put your pens down and close your eyes. And going back to the personal dimension, we acknowledged and named the destructive powers we experience in our lives. And now in this moment, we seek the God of love, whose life-giving power is accessible through our embodied experience in creation. So in these moments, I just invite you to breathe. To open up your senses of smell, and listening, feeling, noticing your skin and the feel of your body on a chair and the feel of your feet on the floor. And remember that you are alive. And in this moment, we can see with the eyes of our hearts that the power of God, the power of love, is coursing through our veins right now. Right now. And remembering the interpersonal dimension, we acknowledge the ways that we isolate ourselves and objectify others. And now instead, we access the power of love by awakening to God's indwelling presence in the people and other members of God's creation that we encounter. So in this moment, I invite you to think about all the people and the beings that you have already encountered just today. Just today. And right here in the church, even though we're in a room right outside, is the entire community of creation. Millions of living beings right here. Some we can see when our eyes are open, like trees and plants, but most that we can't even see. Each essential to the thriving of the ecosystem of God. God's indwelling presence shines in every single living being, if only we have eyes to see. Consider the human communities within creation, those that are close and beloved, and also those who are silenced or disappeared, victimized, made to be invisible by and to dominant cultures. God's indwelling presence shines in every single living human being, if only we have eyes to see. And in the community dimension, we acknowledge the ways we've allowed our scriptures and traditions to be misused as weapons against many. And instead, now we access the power of the God of love to reclaim the rituals and resources of our faiths, to honor human dignity and the integrity of creation. Now, in this moment, I invite you to open your eyes and reach forward to this bowl of water that is in the center of the table, and to anoint yourself for our work ahead in any way that you choose. These waters are maybe from the Tualatin River, but now in the summer drought are more likely from Hag Lake or the Trask River. These waters are sacred before our words or blessings ever reach them, because they're alive, truly living water. But when we come to them as baptismal waters, we open ourselves to the transforming power of the Holy Spirit, who gives us eyes to see the sacred in all things. And finally, in the public dimension, we acknowledged our collective failures in acting for justice. And instead, right now, we access the power of the indwelling God of love, who works through public efforts to advance human and environmental justice. And so we close this prayer time with a prayer. Indwelling God of love, awaken powerful and joyful leadership in these people of St. Andrew. Grant them vision to see what is possible and what is needful right now and right here. Grant them the conviction to act on their God-given vision and the courage to entrust every step of the way to you. empowered and emboldened by the deep knowledge that indeed you work through all public efforts to advance human and environmental justice. In Jesus' name, amen.